Hello and welcome to the MRF Challenge, coming to you from Chennai and the Madras Motor Race track. It's the final race of the championship and the pressure is certainly on. I'm Louise Beckett.
And I'm David Addison, and it all comes down to this one final race. 15 laps ahead of us. It's the 16th race of this mini championship, and it's really a two-way showdown now. It's Joey Mawson as the championship leader. Harrison Newey is the other driver who could win this. And now it's time to get the abacus fired up, because this is where you've got to try and outscore your rival. And it's Joey Mawson that's got the advantage, but can he do it?
12 points between them.
Yes, if Joey Mawson finishes in the top two, then it's game over. If he's third and Harrison Newey wins and gets the fastest lap, they tie on points. It then becomes a tie break. Harrison's had more race wins, so he would get it on that situation. So Joey Mawson starts behind us on pole position. Best thing he can do is just try and storm away and win it from the front.
You've seen him do it before.
Well, he won yesterday's equivalent race, the second race yesterday, so yeah, fingers crossed for him. He has not raced here before. He's had a win. Confidence is up. Let's see what he can do. I'll go and get the abacus fired up. I'll let you go and talk to the drivers.
I certainly will. So I'm going to make my way down the grid and I'm going to start. It is the top three that we need to look at. Harry Newey is in P3. So let's speak to him first. Still quite warm out here, so he's sheltered underneath an umbrella. If I can get in. Harry, final moments. Pressure's on. You know what you've got to do.
Yeah, I don't think the pressure's so much on me because, well, I'm sitting third behind in the championship. I've got nothing to lose. Yeah. It's the man ahead that I think really has the pressure. And I've got to try and apply that pressure and force a mistake out of him. So it'll be an interesting race and I'm just going to try and enjoy it.
Tyres?
Sorry?
Tyres?
Tyres are old. They are old.
Okay, well, he's going to put the pressure on. He's right. He's got to just take that opportunity. Mick Schumacher in P2. Mick, finally, before you go out to race. No, he doesn't want to speak. The drivers are getting into the zone at this point, so you've got to understand that he doesn't want to talk just right now. But I have got Adrian Newey, father of Harry. How's your son feeling?
I don't know, probably, I would imagine, a little bit nervous, but I think he's handled the weekend very well so far. He obviously got pole for the main feature races, won those, so he's done all he can.
We know that taking part in the MRF Challenge is good for track time for a young driver, but what does it also do about them learning mindset?
I think all racing is good, and I think for Harry, it's being sort of near one of the front runners through this championship, trying to stay there, keep his focus, kind of handle the pressure coming into this last round as a championship contender has been fantastic. And
managing to control that, maybe pressure?
Exactly right. I mean, we see it all the time. We even see it in Formula One. I think 2012 when Sebastian and Fernando are up against this right down to the last race in Brazil, and both of them started to show signs of pressure. It's human nature.
The engine's changed this year, so what do you think about that? They've been performing well and the guys have been getting the most out of them, haven't they?
Yeah, no, I think this has probably been the best MRF championship year ever. Been a very strong set of drivers at the front. The car's not easy to drive, it's challenging, but it's rewarding to drive, and I think that shows that you see them pushing out there, you see the car moving around, it's a great little car.
Thanks very much, I'll let you be an onlooker. Finally we go to Joey Mawson, who is in P1. As Harry said, the pressure is on him. He has got the 12-point advantage. So, Joey, final thoughts going into this?
Yeah, well, obviously it's ball's back in my quarter. I'm off pole and have the 12-point lead, so I'm just hoping to get a good start and lead the race.
We know it's your first time here in Chennai, and you have got to grips with the track, but how are you feeling about it? Do you feel in control of it?
Yeah, I do, to be honest. We've had good pace all weekend. I was just unfortunate in race 1 and 3. I didn't have track position, but I'm confident with the pace we should have.
Tyres?
Old tyres.
Okay. Good to know. Well, there you have it. They're both on old tyres. Let's see what happens. David, it's back to you.
Thanks, Louise. So, get set, because a championship that began in Bahrain, moved to Dubai, then to Delhi, ends here in Chennai. And Joey Mawson on 262 points. Harrison Newey on 250 come into this race with the title just between those two. 25 points for a win but you've got 2 for the fastest lap as well, and they could well be crucial by the time we end up with a race result. So keep an eye to the lap times of Mawson and Newey, and of course anybody else, because it could be another driver that takes the fastest lap and therefore prevents either driver from getting those extra 2 points. Joey Mawson is the championship leader on 262, Harry Newey on 250. Mick Schumacher is on 195 points, so he can't do the catching. Can he be caught by Ralph Aaron, who is 4th? Felipe Drugovich, a race winner this year as well, could overhaul the Estonian just, but Ralph Aaron has been really consistent this weekend. He's been on the podium in every race. Drugovich has not been on the podium, so he has got perhaps the harder task. But really, it's going to be all eyes on this Commonwealth battle, Joey Mawson versus Harry Newey. Those are the 2 drivers at the front of the field. All of these cars are JA Motorsport built cars, based with an awful lot of input from Dallara, but about 60% or so of the build is actually JA Motorsport. They've got Renault 2-litre engines, so they're a bit quicker than a Formula Renault car. They're a kind of Formula Renault Plus type car, but not Formula 3 cost significantly. And Dallara have been pushing for this level of championship for a number of years. It was introduced with JA Motorsport and MRF and the Madras Motorsports Club into this country a few years back, stepping up from the 1600 cars. And this race weekend, having grown out of the old Madras Grand Prix event, and it's been a very popular weekend with the presence earlier of Sachin Tendulkar. Let's go back down to the grid and Louise.
And Adrian Newey has just said these are the best cars he's seen in MRF so far. How does that? What do you think about that?
I mean, it's fantastic for somebody in that caliber to say that. I'm very, very honored of his comments. Yeah.
We're into the final race. It's so close between them, and the top 3 have always been so close and battled it out. What do you think? What are you going to predict?
I think it'll be a very, very exciting race because all of them are very, very close, and depends upon who gets a good start. I think it's a little bit difficult to pass in this circuit. So I think it'll be a very interesting race to watch.
The season as a whole, it's been a good one.
Yeah, it's a season, it's fantastic, and all the top 3, I mean, of every race, I think they have been 1st, 2nd and 3rd, and I think it's quite exciting.
Thank you very much.
A great advert this for JA Motorsport. So Jay Anand looks on. The 5-minute board is there. The front of the grid then Joey Mawson and Mick Schumacher, who crashed out of the earlier race today, coming into turn 10, lost the back of the car. Joey Mawson then at the front in the shorts to the front of the car. Chris Weller hiding under the umbrella now. Chris, who has been coming out here for a long, long time, not just for the MRF Challenge, but the Formula 3 races of years past, and of course for many seasons, a successful Formula 3 team principal himself, the Promotechnic team going back a number of years, and Chris has made a habit of winning this championship in recent years, so he's looking for another champion. I think I'm right in saying this would make it 4 out of 5 over the last few years. So Joey Mawson on pole position. He was last year's ADAC F4 champion and will graduate along with his nemesis of the last couple of seasons, Mick Schumacher, to the European Formula 3 Championship for the season ahead. So we've got the cars then on the grid ready to go. There's the development entry of Toby Sowery that should start from the pit lane. That's the sort of future car with paddle shift gearbox. All the others have a gear stick, and for many it's the first time they've raced a car with a gear stick rather than paddle, so it's an extra test for them. But ignore Sowery, he won't score points. Even if he gets the fastest lap, this is the significance of mentioning him, that lap doesn't actually count for the points, so you have to look at the current generation of car. There's one, Mick Schumacher, and over his shoulder, Harry Newey. They were teammates a couple of years ago in the German F4 Championship for the Van Amersfoort racing team, Fritz Van Amersfoort's team. And now as engines fire up, there's going to be one more lap before the race gets underway. The formation lap to put some warmth into the MRF tyres, and then we will be good to go. So the field being shown the 1-minute board. It's a 15-lap race, this championship showdown between Joey Mawson and the man directly behind him on the grid, Harry Newey. The MRF tower on the outside of turn 12, the MRF arch, the big tyre down on the approach to turn 1, and that pit straight taking you into a fast right and then a slower, tighter right straight after. That's been the scene of much excitement over the course of the weekend. If you run wide at turn 1, you're completely compromised into turn 2, and all sorts of things can happen, as has been proved in a number of the sport races. So the cars release, the green flag waves, everybody blasts away now. there's that last opportunity for warmth in the tyres, and then it is down to Joey Mawson. He's the man with all the pressure to try and make the best start he has ever made as the cars work their way then now through turn 1, weaving their way up towards the turn 3 left-hander in a moment. Ralph Aaron, Dan Ticktum, Dylan Young go through the shot. That shows you the circuit going out to turns 4 and 5 and then back the other way with the grid headed by Joey Mawson. He leads them around on this lap with Mick Schumacher, Harry Newey, and then Neil Verhagen starting 4th ahead of Felipe Drugovich and Yuri Vips. Ralph Aaron 7th from Dan Ticktum, then Dylan Young and Yoshiaki Katayama. 11th on the grid is Pavan Ravashankar, ahead of Presley Martineau. Then it is Manuel Maldonado, Chia Wing Hong, and starting in the pits, Toby Sowery. This grid is based on a driver's fastest race lap out of either race 1, race 2 or race 3, and it illustrates how well Neil Verhagen has gone, because he was only 16 years of age yesterday morning, and there he is with the 4th fastest race lap of the weekend to be on the 2nd row. 15 laps on the 3.717 kilometre circuit. Track map, the start and finish straight is on the right-hand side as you look. The long right-hander on the far left, turn 6 into turn 7, and that straight after it down to turn 8 and into turn 9, the left-hander, a significant part of the lap where people can try and overtake. Doesn't always work, but Mick Schumacher yesterday had a good run around the outside to gain a place, and if you get it wrong then you're compromised for the remainder of the lap, so it's a crucial part of the circuit. It's not the easiest of places, this circuit, on which to overtake, but the drivers now have done enough miles around here with 2 half-hour free practice sessions, a half-hour qualifying session, and this is the 4th race. So this is one of the beauties of the MRF Challenge. You get oodles of track time. The cost of entering it is $50,000 US. That includes travel, and the prize for the champion is $50,000 US. So if you get it right, you can get your money back on this. And Joey Mawson is the man coming into this with the championship advantage. 12 points it is. If he can stay in the top 2, he's done it. Top 3, and Harry Newey doesn't get the fastest lap, he's done it. After that, it starts to get a bit more complicated. So Joey Mawson gets set, so too does Mick Schumacher. Now he just wants to win a race, he doesn't care about the championship, he can't win it. So if he could win this, that's what he wants to do, win the race. He's taking points away from Mawson and from Newey. And then of course if they drop down, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, you have to have a whole new list of permutations for the championship. 15 laps of racing, the lights go red. 5 red lights will go out. The final round of the MRF Challenge is go. Good start by Mawson, good start by Newey as well. Mawson moves across the defend, that gives Newey a free ride on the outside line. Can he go around the outside of Mawson? No, he can't, but he slots in behind him ahead of Schumacher. So Joey Mawson leads the way. Harry Newey is 2nd. Schumacher is 3rd, and a big drama already. Ralph Aaron is off the road, so too is Neil Verhagen. And huge suspension damage for Ralph Aaron's car there. So he and Neil Verhagen off the road at the first corner. That may well be a safety car. Let's see as the survivors work their way up towards the kink for the first time. Schumacher on the back of Harry Newey as they turn their way now up towards the S's. Neil Verhagen's good grid position, I'm afraid, has not done much for him. He ends up clashing with Ralph Aaron. Now Verhagen was 4th on the grid and 7th was Aaron as Newey almost gets into the back of Mawson then coming out of turns 4 and 5, the two of them together. Harry Newey knows that he's got to attack on this opening lap whilst everybody else is tightly bunched while the tyres are getting up to temperature. If he can't do it now, then Mawson's given an opportunity to build the lead. He's got no hope at all of getting ahead of his championship rival, but Joey Mawson is withstanding it. He jinks around to try to break the toe, and he does not jink around to break the toe. He jinks around because the safety car boards are being prepared. I think there was a yellow being waved, and he has slowed right down. And now the safety car legend is on the screen and the safety car boards are being shown. So apologies to Joey Mawson, he wasn't weaving, he was keeping the tyre temperatures up and the tyre pressures up as he jinked left and right because he'd seen the boards even before they'd been illustrated on the timing screen and on the graphics. So Joey Mawson backs out of that full attack lead lap, and down at turn 1, as you look at Aaron Mammon, the managing director of MRF, the marshals are hard at work to try and sort out the Ralph Aaron Neil Verhagen incident. And there it is, that's Ralph Aaron's car. It's magenta and black in colour. I said in the earlier race today it looked like a bruise, it certainly does now. And that's going to take a few minutes to lift because there's no way, with barely a wheel attached, you can push that out of the way. Neil Verhagen, very frustratingly for him, out of the race as well. And Joey Mawson it is then who leads the way. Everybody has to form up behind while we've got the safety car out like this. You're not allowed to do any overtaking. And let's have a look at the replay of the start as the lights go out and Joey Mawson powers away. So another good start, just like yesterday, by Ralph Aaron in that magenta and black car. Now, what happens between him and Verhagen? They turn into the corner. Aaron was on the outside of Verhagen. Let's see if there's another angle that might illustrate how that incident panned out. So Ralph Aaron, you're looking for number 99 there on the outside. He and Neil Verhagen turned through the corner. Again, look, great start by Aaron. So too also his fellow countryman Yuri Vips. Neil Verhagen with a slow start, turning their way into turn 1. But Ralph Aaron on the outside line, interlocking wheels with Verhagen, and I fear going over as a consequence of all of that. Let's see. So into shot they come. Yes, spectacularly over Ralph Aaron. So he'd already started the roll as he came into shot, but he was on the outside of Verhagen, and you would suggest that his line and Neil Verhagen's line came across one another. And with broken suspension on Verhagen's car, he's going no further. But Ralph Aaron, a little bit shaken, I would have thought, after that huge moment. So the safety car deployed. There's a big screen in the pit lane, which is where everybody gathers to watch the action. And on track, the lights are still flashing on that safety car. When the lights go out, that's the indication that it will peel in at the end of the lap, and we will be back in business. There is a 40-minute time slot for this race. Should the safety car period or periods be very lengthy, it's 15 laps or 40 minutes. But as they jink their way down now towards turn 10, Joey Mawson ahead of Harry Newey, Mick Schumacher third, fourth Yuri Vips, fifth Felipe Drugovich, Dan Ticktum in the pale blue car sixth. Now Ticktum got a penalty in the earlier race. He was running in the leading group, but then ended up with a 20-second penalty for a jump start. That put him into 10th place in the end. So big frustration for Dan Ticktum, who was on the podium yesterday, having not raced these cars up until this weekend, having not raced here, of course, up until this weekend, having done precious little racing in the last 12 months. But when he was allowed back into racing after a ban that put him out for 12 months after an incident at Silverstone in 2015, he's done a lot of mileage in the FIA F3 Championship finale at Hockenheim, in the BRDC F3 Autumn Trophy, in the Macau Grand Prix, and a very, very highly rated British driver. So it's been fascinating to see how Dan Ticktum gets on around here this weekend. Down towards turn 1 they all weave. Still that safety car board is there. And down at turn 1, how are we doing in the clear-up operation? 83 turning through, which is Manuel Maldonado. He's 9th in the queue at the moment, having had a rather frustrating weekend. He's the cousin of Pastor Maldonado. There is what's left of Ralph Aaron's car on the flatbed. So glad I pointed out he'd been the only man on the podium all weekend. So disappointment in this final race for him. It's hard to prize a smile out of Ralph Aaron at the best of times. This is not the best of times. His fellow countryman Yuri Vips then running in 4th place. As the cars turn their way out of the S's. The other one to retreat is Neil Verhagen. But just going back to Manuel Maldonado, who we'd seen a moment ago, he has had a couple of 9ths, but one retirement as well this weekend. He is the brother-in-law of Rupert Svensson-Cook, former champion, who we saw a moment ago down in the pit lane. And Rupert here doing some driver coaching, but with a closer family interest than normal. Calvin Burt in the background as well, 1993 British Formula 3 champion, here as driver coach. The drivers love this series because not only is it great value for money, it keeps them race fit during the winter, but engineers love it as well, and driver coaches love it because it lets them earn during the lean months of the year as well. And with 4 weekends for the drivers as well, to make the point about the circuits, Bahrain, a Formula 1 track, the Dubai Autodrome, which is an international spec touring car and in previous days FIA GT circuit, then the BIC in Delhi, former home of the Indian Grand Prix, and here. So you've got Formula 1 circuits, you've got international tracks, and you've got this backbone of Indian motor racing, which has been resurfaced for this year, so it's quicker. And Vicky Chandhok, the chairman of the Madras Motorsport Club, with big plans for the future of the circuit, more modern pit structures, more permanent buildings to run the 2 circuits independently at the same time, the East and the West circuit. And the future of the track is looking good. Motorsport in India is looking good as well, because not only is this MRF challenge going from strength to strength, and this undoubtedly the most competitive entry over its history, but also the sub-level single-seater categories for the MRF Challenge 1600s and the Formula LGB 1300s, both with good grids, and saloon car racing over here as well has produced a huge entry this weekend. There's also the Volkswagen Vento series in this country, not here this weekend, but that too attracting drivers. So the sport is on the up again, which is good to know over here. Joey Mawson then, the Australian, leads the Brit, Harrison Newey, as they work their way now up through the turn 12 right-hander. Safety car on track still, so it's going to be at least one more lap, but of course once the cars are out of harm's way, then the recovery vehicles have to go and park. Marshals need to be back on post before the indication can be given that we can go racing once more. Safety cars breed safety cars, and could it be that there's another tangle still to come? And what's going to happen on the restart? Can Harrison Newey get a better run than Joey Mawson and jump ahead of him? You've got to say, given how the ADAC F4 Championship has been over the last 2 years, that Joey Mawson, the reigning champion, ought to be well versed in safety car starts, because there has been a huge number of them. I seem to remember one round that had 4 safety car periods. So Joey knows all about safety cars in races and how to control them, and as the Volkswagen safety car accelerates its way away now from turn 3 up towards the S's and then on to turns 4 and 5. So are we looking at a restart this time around? Lights are still on. Harry Newey in second spot, Mick Schumacher third, and then Juri Vips, who's had a more encouraging weekend. He's now equalled in race 3 here, his best of the season, which was a second place he got in Bahrain. And then behind him in the queue, Felipe Drugovich and Dan Ticktum to round out the top 6. Arun Mammon there in the MRF cap, the company's managing director, waiting like everybody now for the frantic restart, because really we're going to have had about a third of the race pretty much under the safety car if they do another lap. So we're on that 4 at the moment, and still the lights are flashing. Not anymore, lights out I think as they come down towards the turn 10 kink. The green flag is indeed ready on the start line, and so hold on to your hats. We're about to go racing once more. Race leader is championship leader. That's the best way to do it from Joey Mawson's point of view. Don't think about points, just keep everybody behind you. And that's the best way to win a championship. Harrison Newey has won more races than anybody this year. He's now had 6 victories, whereas it has been 3 wins for Joey Mawson in Dubai, in Delhi and in Chennai. He's been in the points in every race, so he would be a deserving champion, no doubt. Harry Newey, though, as the man who's had more race wins, would feel he would be a deserving champion. He was 5th in the MRF Challenge last year, so he's got the track knowledge, the car knowledge, but Joey Mawson's great consistency has stood him in better stead over the course of the 15 races that we've had. He sprints away now as he accelerates up towards turn 11, over the brow to turn 12. The green flag's ready and wait then to release the cars into racing this time around as they come through the final right-hander onto the pit straight. The green flags all around the lap now, as completing 4 laps of the race, Joey Mawson is released into proper race pace. Newey, Schumacher, Vips, then Drugovich, then Ticktum, Young, Katayama next up as they work their way through the right-hander of turn 1. Maldonado it is in 9th, Presley Martono is 10th, and what can Newey do about Mawson at the moment? The answer is not much. Half a second was the margin when they came across the line, and Joey Mawson leads the way, trying to build this gap over Harry Newey. But Harry has been quick and spectacular and pretty much error-free over the course of the weekend, so if he can stay with Mawson, he will continue to apply that pressure. Mick Schumacher made a mistake in race 3 and went off the road. He runs 3rd here. In 4th place behind is Juri Vips, on the field accelerating now up from turn 4 and 5, with Mawson doing his level best to edge away. Now, if Schumacher can do anything about Newey, that's going to play into Mawson's hands, because it will take the pressure off. Chia Wing Hung is off the road as well. Not for the first time, I'm afraid, this weekend, as the Malaysian had a drama. He had quite a big accident in free practice on Friday afternoon, and off the road now, dropping himself to the back of the pack. Dan Ticktum chasing at the moment after Felipe Drugovich. How did Wing lose it? He ran wide into the S's, found all the dust, grip disappeared, kept turning in, back overtakes front, and he skates off the circuit heading towards the weeds. Mawson and Newey absolutely together though. Harry Newey is certainly not going to give up just because he's behind Joey Mawson. He's going to do his best and take the battle to him. If he were to win and Mawson be second, Mawson would have 280 points, 275 to Newey, so Joey would still do it depending on factoring in the fastest lap, but it would still be a 5-point gap and 2 for the fastest lap, so it would still be enough for Joey Mawson to do it. But Harrison Newey has now done the fastest lap of the race so far as the cars work their way up towards turn 2. Now, saying he's done the fastest lap of the race, with all due deference, doesn't mean a lot. We've had so much of it behind the safety car, but that's 2 points extra to Harrison Newey. So that would give him 2.77 against the 2.80 of Mawson if he were to get ahead. But at the moment, Joey Mawson is doing it the right way by leading from the front, by winning the championship, by leading the race. But Mick Schumacher is coming back at Harrison Newey as well as they work their way now towards turn 4 and 5, and Mawson goes a little bit deep into the corner there, so wastes exit speed, and that brings Newey and Schumacher right onto his tail. So just a tiny slip by Joey Mawson means now that the leading three are as one as they work their way back around turn 6 and 7. They've got the run down to 8, and actually Schumacher is the man on a mission now. He's got the run on Newey. Now this could be significant. Which way does he go? He tries the outside line, can't quite do it. Can he get the cut back? No, because the car just started to slide away from him ever so slightly. But Newey having to go defensive now. This all helps Joey Mawson. The best thing that can happen for Joey is that Schumacher gets really on his toes and starts to distract Harry Newey, and if they squabble for second, Mawson can build his advantage. We're on lap 6 of 15 now. Out of turn 11 they come, over the brow. It's the Australian trying to edge away from the quick Brit. Harry Newey in second spot, third Mick Schumacher. Up towards the timing line they will come, wide over the curb Joey Mawson. It's just a little bit scrappy, isn't it? You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to push and get away from Harry Newey, break him psychologically as well as break the toe, the slipstream effect that might just help on that run down to turn 8. All that gravel across the road doesn't help braking for turn 2, around which now Newey goes. Schumacher not able as yet to mount a proper bid against the British driver. Up towards the S's they go. There you can see Harry Newey is just edging away again from Mick Schumacher, but in good traditional slicks and wings single-seater fashion, it's a rather elasticated gap, shrinks at one corner, stretches at another. It was here that Joey Mawson ran a bit deep last time. It's all good this time around though, so he comes out with what, 3-4 lengths advantage, but Newey is the more spectacular, the more aggressive, using the curve, just trying to shortcut the lap ever so slightly, keep up the speed, keep up the momentum, and try to bring himself through this section close enough to be able to attack down to turn 8 as Ravashankar rejoins after a moment. He's back in the right direction, distant from the pack though as the leaders. Concertina up down at turn 8. Out of it turns Mawson, turns Newey, turns Schumacher, and now they make the run down towards the kink approaching turn 10. Schumacher still looking for a way past Harry Newey. Joey Mawson desperately wants Mick to get past, or at least distract and start to attack the second place car, because it will give him a bit more breathing space. And right now the gap is down, I would propose, over where it was a lap ago. It was 0.6 of a second previously. Wide is Juri Vips. He moves straight across to defend from Drugovic and goes to the outside line. Can he get the cut back and get the inside on the run past the pits? The leaders come through. That puts 7 laps in the book now. Joey Mawson is half a second up on Harrison Newey, who has just done the fastest lap of the race, but it still isn't enough as long as he's behind Mawson. So never mind the pace, he's got to overtake somehow. Juri Vips having to make that car as wide as humanly possible to keep at bay Felipe Drugovic, having his best run of the weekend here in terms of position. Out of turn 3 they come, absolutely together, these two, and Drugovic is a man on a mission, taking advantage of the Vips slip coming out of turn 11 on the previous lap. Juri Vips defends the inside line. Drugovic thinks about the outside, thinks better of it as well. Juri Vips finds a little bit of the dust. That's going to push him out wide on the next corner unless he backs out of it, which he does. Slows the pace, therefore, cuts across, takes the apex once again, and makes sure that Drugovic can't get up the inside. Dan Tickton behind them, struggling to close, actually. I thought Dan might have been part of that battle by now, but he's not yet there. Another very talented British driver, along with Lando Norris, who's away doing the TRS in New Zealand in the winter months. But Dan Tickton, another man like Lando, like Harrison Newey, with a good future ahead. And coming out of turn 8 now, as you see Juri Vips, having now regained his composure, starting to look less threatened, ever so slightly, by Felipe Drugovic as they work their way now down to turn 10 through this kink. And they're hard on the brakes as they flip their way into the left-hander. It was there that Mick Schumacher went off the road in race 3 of the weekend. Cars now accelerate over the brow. Race leaders about to go over the timing line. As they do so, it is Joey Mawson leading the way. The gap is down again from 0.6 to half a second to 0.486 now. Newey second, Schumacher third. But Joey Mawson is doing everything he needs to do. As long as he wins the race, then that is fine. He comes into this with more points than Newey, so as long as he's ahead, job done. Harry Newey trying everything he possibly can now, but he's also got this constant distraction of Mick Schumacher behind him. To the S's they come once more. Then on towards turns 4 and 5 as they work their way through the long right-hander. It is Mawson looking a little bit more secure maybe this time, because now Schumacher is giving very energetic chase to Harry Newey, and that means that Harry has to go defensive. He's got the German driver tucked up behind him. Through they turn, heading towards the run to turn 8. Now this is the possibility for Schumacher to make a move. If he can get a good run on this next section down towards the braking area, no, opportunity denied. In an earlier race, he tried the outside line there, stood his ground and got the inside here to gain a place, but not really close enough to Newey to have a proper go there. Look at the gap, though, that the leading 3 now have pulled over Juri Vips. Then you've got Felipe Drugovich next up, and in 6th spot, Dan Ticktum a little bit lonely. Harry Newey definitely is not lonely, though. He's trying to attack Mawson, he's trying to defend from Schumacher, and the cars now work their way down once again through the right-hander of turn 12. Over the timing line goes Joey Mawson. 9 laps now in the book as he goes by. The gap between him and Newey up fractionally, half a second. Mick Schumacher 3rd, and then it's a long, long wait before Juri Vips comes into view. Now, what's happened to Drugovich? Because they were close a little while ago, and now there's Juri Vips on his own. Drugovich did go through, but about 3 seconds further back, so the time wasted, time lost somewhere, bearing in mind that 2 laps ago or so, Drugovich was looking for a way past the Estonian, but now Vips on his own, and Drugovich is being caught by Ticktum. The 2 of them almost together now for 5th and 6th places. So the leaders wriggle their way through, and there in the background, look, you've got Drugovich with Dan Ticktum on his tail. Now, is he close enough to think about making a move? Almost. And Ticktum is the more aggressive of the 2 as he kicks up the dust. Dylan Young there, the Australian driver, goes by, regular in this championship as the leaders head to turn 8. There's Vips in 4th. And what's going on behind? Absolutely together now, look. Drugovich in the red car versus Dan Ticktum, the British driver, to the outside line. This would be brave if he can do it round the outside, and he has done. Fantastic move. Dan Ticktum goes right round the outside, stands his ground on the inside. Does he? No, he drops back, loses momentum on the outside line. I thought it was going to work in his favour on the inside as they headed into turn 9, but not quite. So he went round the outside, great, and then lost out at the next corner as Drugovich retaliated. So a great battle between the 2. It's going to be a very frustrated driver now in Dan Ticktum. He was suggesting yesterday that the pace was not perhaps as quick as he would like it, and there an example of good racecraft, but maybe in a straight line. Drugovich having just a little bit more grunt, so Ticktum ends up losing the place that he'd gained, but it was a very, very impressive effort, as there we've had a change for the lead and a change for second. So Newey leads Mawson. Now things upside down as far as the championship are concerned, because Mawson will be on 2.77, Newey on 2.75, but give him another 2 for the fastest lap. They tie on points, and Newey's got more race wins. They're both on used tyres, but it looks as though it might have been a mistake out of Joey Mawson that has released Harrison Newey into the race lead, and provisionally I would suggest that on a tie break this would give him the championship because he's had more race wins. Here they come then, Mick Schumacher tucked up behind him. If I get a spare hand, I'll delve into the regulations to double check this, but not only is Mawson down in 3rd, he's not looking like he's going to be able to retaliate. Now his salvation could be Mick Schumacher to try and get up there and take some points away from Harrison Newey. Down they come towards the right-hander at turn 8 once again. It doesn't happen for Schumacher there, he's not quite close enough, but Joey Mawson, out of shot, has lost his race lead, and he's lost his championship lead potentially. Therefore the title could be heading the way of Harry Newey. We're on lap number 11 in this final 3rd of the race. This would give Mawson 2.77, it would give Newey 2.75 plus the 2 for the fastest lap, tie on points. Harrison Newey has had more wins. How close can you get a championship as they work sideways in the case of Newey, out of the last corner, up over the timing line, through they come. And so Joey Mawson, a now slightly distant 3rd, has got to pull something out of the bag here as they work their way over the timing line once again. The race leaders then accelerate out of turn 1. Man up front, Harrison Newey. Mick Schumacher behind him. The gap was 0.6 of a second last time. Now, the other option here that is open to Mawson is that he goes quick enough to be able somehow to do the fastest lap of the race, because then that would give the 2 points to him, and then he might just be safe. So let's keep an eye to the lap times. The best of anybody in the race has been Toby Sowery, but of course he doesn't take the points, so it means that in real terms the points go the way of Harrison Newey as the field accelerates then onto lap 12 out of 15. Cars turning their way now up through the fast back part of the circuit through turns 6 and 7. Down towards turn 8 goes Newey, still chasing after him. Mick Schumacher doing his level best now to not only find his way through into the lead and to win a race, but how will that affect the championship? Can he affect the championship? And what happened to Joey Mawson to cause the incident in the first place that meant that he dropped those 2 places? We were watching other battles and inevitably can't look everywhere. So Mawson ends up down in 3rd spot, and it means that Harrison Newey is provisionally heading now towards a title as he heads up over the timing line once again. Through he goes. So Newey to Schumacher with 12 laps done. He's 0.591 of a second. Look in the background, Joey Mawson is really struggling here to do very much at all, it seems, about those quicker drivers ahead of him as they come over the line. They work their way through turn 1 and then now down towards the start of lap number 13. So the race leaders then flip their way up towards the S's. Mick Schumacher having run wide, trying to clean the tyres, but that means he's dropped a whole heap of time against Harrison Newey. So Newey clear on his own up front, powering his way now through the right-hander. There is Schumacher behind. Then for 3rd spot, Joey Mawson. So it's now really the 2 points for the fastest lap that are going to be crucial here. Harrison Newey's last lap was a 1:31.1, Mawson's was a 31.8, and Harrison Newey then looking as though it's going to fall his way here. He's been able to rack up a good number of fastest laps as well over the course of the weekend, so let's see how he fares. He's had 2 pole positions, proving he's been a gun in qualifying. There is Mawson. Can he gain 1 place back? As off the road again has gone Cheer Wing Hong. So Newey leads. 2nd behind him, Schumacher. 3rd, Mawson, having made a mistake somewhere and fallen back, but it's been perhaps the most costly mistake of his season. Harry Newey then leads the way. This is going to put 13 laps in the book now as he comes over the line. Behind him, Mick Schumacher. The gap between them, 2.170 seconds, so that gap, in other words, is creeping up. Pavan Ravashankar off the road. Joey Mawson's lap times quicker than Schumacher actually that time around, so he's a little bit nearer to the German driver, but we'd seen Mick run wide at the mid part of the lap, so it might just have been a rogue lap, a rogue mistake for Schumacher that's helped put the pendulum in the direction again of Joey Mawson. So as Harry Newey leads the way, Mick Schumacher 2nd on the road, Joey Mawson 3rd. Mawson needs a pole position style lap here. So if you do tie on points to confirm, it's the number of wins, the regular way of deciding a tie-break, and Harrison Newey has had more of those than Joey Mawson. Joey has had 3 over the course of the season, Harrison Newey having had 6 victories. So Harry Newey on the verge of a championship, but to tie on points, perhaps it's the most exciting way, but it's also the cruelest way for the vanquished driver, isn't it? Joey Mawson then, but he'll be absolutely furious with whatever drama it was that caused him to lose not 1 but 2 places and lose a championship in the bargain. And he just started to wonder whether all is well with the car, because look how close now Juri Vips is getting as the race nears its end. Vips is pushing. If he were to get up past Joey Mawson as well, then it resolves it very nicely in favour of Harrison Newey, even without the tiebreak, and the gap is tumbling, absolutely no doubt about it. Over the line to start the last lap goes Harry Newey. An excellent effort this by the British driver, applying the pressure to Mawson, sneaking his way into the lead. Schumacher 2nd, and that is the best lap of the race for Harry Newey, so it confirms the 2 points go his way. He's going to win a championship from the front. Mick Schumacher 2nd, and Mawson has nearly dropped into the clutches now of Juri Vips. Is there a problem with the car? If he went off to lose those places, it's conceivable that he's picked up lots of grass into an air intake and the car's overheating and losing power. Let's just see if we can espy a side pod. Looks from that shot okay, but I just get the feeling that all is not well. I wouldn't want to point the finger and say that it's a motivational problem that Joey has, because he wants to fight back as best he can, and therefore you'd expect him to be going after Schumacher if he could, but the way that he's almost now in the clutches of Vips suggests that all is not well. So Newey leads. It is Schumacher 2nd, and Joey Mawson, oh so close to being the champion. Looks as though he's going to lose out in that cruel way on a tie-break, and because more wins for Harrison Newey, it would be the Brit that takes the crown. Accelerating then now out of turn 9 go the race leaders for the last time. There's going to be a very proud dad in the pit lane, I would have thought, Adrian Newey. There's going to be a delighted young British driver aboard this car, because Harrison Newey turns his way out of turn 12. He's going to win the final round of the MRF Challenge. He's going to win the MRF Challenge as well. Harry Newey wins in Chennai. He's almost out of the car. He's absolutely delighted. Mick Schumacher takes second. Joey Mawson, a frustrated third, just ahead of Yuri Vips. But what a way to end a championship. The top 2 drivers tie on points. Harry Newey gets the nod on the most number of wins. And what a fantastic weekend it has been for him. He's won 3 out of 4 races. You've got to say that's a deserving champion. So Harry Newey it is who scores a race win and wins the MRF Challenge on a tie-break. And Harry Newey, just to confirm, didn't just get the fastest lap of the current cars, he was the fastest lap of everybody, and proudly the timing screen boasts his name. So 1 minute 30.839 was Harry Newey's best lap. So Harry Newey with the 2 points for the fastest lap plus the 25 for a win brings him equal to Joey Mawson, gives him the championship on a tie-break. What a way to end the MRF Challenge. It's got to go some next year to top that. And there is Joey Mawson, who is not in a mood to say well done to Harry Newey. He's trying to make his way back to the pit lane as quickly as possible. He's third in the race. In theory, that means he'll go to the podium and be interviewed. I'm not sure he's going to really want to talk very much. You can see he's not hanging around, is he? He wants to get back and make today go away. We need to find out from him exactly what it was that cost him the time, but there is a very disappointed Joey Mawson. So near and yet so far. Came into the weekend with a big championship lead. He won 1 race in fairness, but it has been eroded and eroded and eroded, and then in the most tight fashion possible disappears altogether in the last race of the championship season. So down the pit road they come. There is Joey Mawson, who steps from the car. Harry Newey doing the celebratory donuts, and Joey Mawson thinks, yeah, great, could have been me, should have been me. But Harry Newey celebrating in style here. The crowd responding. The first championship success for Harry. He was 5th in the MRF Challenge last year. Now he's got to get himself to Parc Fermé somehow, so this could be quite a long wait. There, Mick Schumacher. Where's he gone, he asks. He's doing donuts, is he? Right, now he understands. So the drivers for 3rd and for 2nd are there. Joey Mawson's car I can see, but I'm not entirely sure that Joey hung around. You can understand a very disappointed driver, but there's the car, but Joey I can't yet find. Arun Mammon from MRF reflects on what has been a great way to end a hugely competitive championship. The trophy's being brought forward ready for the podium. And absolutely no doubt about the result, given the way that Harry Newey was celebrating there when he came up towards the line. So he's going to do an extra lap round into the pit lane. And there is Joey Mawson's car that for so long looked like it was going to be the one that would win the championship. In the end, it is this car. Harry Newey, the victorious driver, heads down the pit road. And a race that had that long safety car period at the start ends with a race win for Harry Newey, Mick Schumacher 2nd, and Joey Mawson takes 3rd. I've spotted Joey in the pit lane. He does at least applaud Harry Newey as he comes down the pits. There is Joey Mawson, just a glimpse in the black overalls in the background, making his way over the barrier. But Harry Newey delighted with that result. Leaped to embrace the team. Where's Dad? There he is, in the background, all smiles. Harrison Newey with the BRDC Rising Stars badge on his overall. One of the many young drivers, young British and Commonwealth drivers given support by the British Racing Drivers Club. And Adrian Newey, all smiles. It means a lot, this, for Harry Newey, and it's impressive to see how he has matured as a driver, not just this weekend, but over the last couple of seasons, because when he began, there were quite a few errors, didn't have the pace of others, but he's done a lot more testing, a lot more racing, a lot more mileage, and the net result is, as you've seen this weekend, that there are very few mistakes, and the mental competence of Harry Newey has been on display in that last race, knowing exactly what he needed to do. He never gave up, kept pushing all the time. And I think it's time we interrupted this family celebration. Louise, go for it.
I've just got to let them have a couple of photos before I step in. Well, you knew what you had to do, and you did it. You kept your cool and you did it.
Yeah, I just tried to put pressure on Joey under the safety car. Just stayed really close to him, always. He was always looking in his mirrors, so I knew he was under pressure. And he made a small mistake, and I just thought, I've got to go for this. And if we crash, we crash, but hopefully it'll pull off. And it did, and it worked well. So, yeah.
We didn't see what happened on the overtake, so what did happen?
It just came over the bridge, and he just made a bit of a mistake. Didn't go on the dirt or anything, but I think he dropped one wheel on the dirt, but just didn't have the best exit. And obviously I was close to him always, but it just put me a bit closer. And he half defended and thought I was too far back, so he came back out of it. And when he came back out, I just went for it, and obviously went quite deep into the corner, which allowed Mick to get past as well. So. Yeah.
Were you worried about Mick because he was very close behind you?
No, I knew that I had it under control. So yeah, no, it's good.
Good work, well done.
Thanks, Ruth.
Okay, I'm just going to go and try and find second and third place. They seem to be ready for the podium, so give me a moment while I look for those drivers. I can see Mick Schumacher posing for a photo with some young fans.
Good luck finding Joey Mawson.
Mick, just while you got your thumbs up, you tried, but wasn't quite able to catch Harry.
No, I was able to catch Harry. I was, but I was stuck behind him, so tried once after I saw that just the gap was not enough, I think, from the speed. I had new tires, so I think that also helped, but still didn't manage to get by. Then Joey did the mistake. So yeah, unfortunate for him, but I think, congratulations to Harry. He done a good job this year. And for me, I think I'm really looking forward to the F3 season now, because it's a new challenge for me, and I'm very happy to go back home now too.
Focusing on the MRF challenge, that race really summed up the season, didn't it, between the three of you?
Yeah, I think we could see that it was very close. The guys in the back struggled a bit, but we three were always together, so it did sum up the season, yeah.
Okay, thanks very much. And finally, if I can find Joey, I'll see if I can grab a quick word with him. I can see him over here. Joey. Sorry, I know it's tough to talk now. A tough race for you. I don't know what to say, really. What was the issue?
Obviously I had a really difficult car. You saw, I guess everybody saw once Harry got past, he was gone. So yeah, I was just trying to keep the car on track. I had old tyres, and it was good at the start of the race, but then I think the pressures were too high, and I just really struggled towards the end.
I've just said it to Mick as well, but it just goes to show how close all three of you have been. Yeah,
no, it has. I think, at the end, I think we're on equal points to decide the championship, so it shows how close it was. And in the end, it's a shame to lose it like that after leading for so long.
Walking away from the MRF challenge for this season, what can you take from it?
Obviously it was good experience, good racing, good battling. Racing against my two former teammates was really enjoyable. I just have to say thank you to my sponsor Podium and all the guys involved in that that have enabled me to be on the grid.
Thanks very much.
So Joey Mawson, despite the huge disappointment, able to say all the right things. And let's see how Harry Newey, Mick Schumacher and others in this MRF Challenge fare over the course of the coming season in the FIA Formula 3 European Championship. The likes of Dan Ticktum and Neil Verhagen go off and do the Formula Renault Euro Cup. Others perhaps still working on their plans. Dylan Young, for example, has been on record as saying he wants to go into GP3 this year. So let's see who comes back for another year in 12 months' time. the MRF Challenge, having once again proved its worth as a driver training category and also as a great spectacle as well. Mick Schumacher consoles Joey Mawson. Let's have a look at the race result first of all. Harry Newey, the race winner. The gap in the end at flagfall, 3.684 seconds over Mick Schumacher. Joey Mawson taking third, Yuri Vips fourth, and Felipe Drugovich in fifth spot. Dan Tickton was sixth, ahead of Dylan Young, Presley Martono, Yoshiaki Katayama, and Manuel Maldonado. So for Harrison Newey, a season which includes now 7 race wins, a job well done, and can you ask for anything closer than that? A tie-break on points, and we've made the point about how important the fastest lap is over the course of a race weekend, and that is the evidence of it. So Harry Newey, along with Mick Schumacher, discuss the race. Joey Mawson in the background wishes today would end. But a first championship win for Harry Newey, and he will in a moment be called up towards the podium with Mick Schumacher there taking on some liquid. Aaron Mammon from MRF with his back to the camera talking to Harry Newey, who's explaining how he managed to get past with Joey Mawson having put a wheel over the curb, delaying himself, half defending, and Harry Newey seizing the opportunity. So looking down on the podium, the trophies are there. It looks as though as well there may well be a number of race podiums to do, because I think they're going to have the MRF 1600s and possibly also the saloon cars. We've had a very busy day of racing here, but Harry Newey heads towards the podium itself. Circuit announcer awaits confirmation that we are good to go. Race officials with the paperwork, making sure that the race result doesn't have any judicial dramas, and therefore that the top 3 is the top 3. So the nod is about to be given, I think, for the drivers to step forward, and also the dignitaries that will present trophies. Now the race officials just double checking the race results. As I say, they don't want any judicial dramas to crop up, so if the race results are confirmed, then the drivers can be called forward. They're the motley band of international visitors, engineers, driver coaches, mechanics, and they've enjoyed this MRF challenge. Some welcome winter work, and in good climates as well. There's the vast prize-giving party this evening for the championship, which is never done on a small scale, and then it's back to the realities of a European winter for many tomorrow morning. So the circuit announcer is ready, and now Harrison Newey, Mick Schumacher and Joey Mawson can be called forward for the final race in the MRF Challenge.
16 races, 4 rounds, 4 cities, and we are down to this. It's been such an exciting race. I've lost my script. I don't know what I have to say. I'm nervous. It was a nail-biting race. Wasn't it? Wasn't it? Yeah. All right. First order of business is to do the podium for race 4 of the MRF Challenge. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Aaron Mammon, Managing Director, MRF Tires Limited, to come over here and help us do the honors.
Aaron Mammon can reflect on a very successful MRF challenge. The amount of media coverage it gets grows and grows and grows year on year. Quality of racing improves, and what a way to end a championship season. Joey Mawson, third in the race, runner-up in the championship, denied on a tie-break. All that effort, so near, and yet so far.
Well done, Joey.
Joey Mawson takes third place with a resigned smile. Mick Schumacher is the man who takes second place in the race, makes his way up onto the podium. Joey Mawson's great consistency, just to make the point, he has been a point scorer in every race in the championship, Mick Schumacher with a few retirements to his name, but he takes second place in this race. And the man for the top step of the podium, he won more races than anybody. He won the championship as well, Harrison Newey.
Harry Newey! Harrison Newey, ladies and gentlemen. Harrison Newey, Mick Schumacher, Joey Mawson. This is your winning three. You're going to have the trophies now to give away.
The trophies will be brought forward for Arun Marman to hand over. Joey Mawson takes third place, and it's not the place he wanted to finish, but he gets a good reception. Everybody, I think, sympathising with him and also appreciating the great effort that he put in. Great consistency shown all season, but he really has struggled with this place all weekend. He has had a win, granted, but it's just not been a Mawson-friendly track. Mick Schumacher second. Harrison Newey is the man with the race winner's trophy.
It's been a fantastic journey in this MRF challenge, and thank you all for being with us. Hang in there, we got more podiums to do. But first, after
the drivers
moment,
pose for the photographs.
Champagne celebration for these big boys.
Champagne, I think, in a moment once the photos are all done.
Yeah, come on, show them the appreciation. Report high.
Poor old Joey Mawson is doing his best to force a smile, but you can understand the emotion. So the champagne will be presented, and then everybody can run for cover. Harry Newey on that top step. It's been a hard weekend, it's been a long weekend, it's been a hot weekend, and now a great release, not just of the champagne, but the pressure as well. Joey Mawson joins in as best he can. Mick Schumacher, who's been saying all weekend as well, it's the Formula 3 European Championship I'm more concerned about. And you get the feeling that was his defence mechanism in a way if he did lose out, but he's learnt, just like the rest of them have. And the stalwart trophy girl, who got a soaking, has now been encouraged to go and dry out as the drivers make their way off the podium. But we're not done yet, because there are other races and other championships for their podiums still to come. So the MRF Challenge 2-litre drivers make their way back to their teams, back to their engineers, and a look back at the final round of the MRF Challenge, which had on pole position Joey Mawson, Mick Schumacher with him at the front of the grid. It was a good start by Mawson. He was the man that bolted away. But Harry Newey from the second row able to outdrag Mick Schumacher on the way down towards turn one. And from then on, all Joey Mawson had to do was stay ahead. The hard job was that of Harry Newey. He had to find a way by, but Ralph Aaron's race came to a premature end. First corner as he cartwheeled into retirement, having interlocked wheels with Neil Verhagen. That brought out the safety car. Everybody bunched up, and as the race got back underway, there was early drama for Chia Wing Hung, who had his spin. Chia Wing Hung spinning off the road at the S's. He was able to rejoin as the leaders continued to squabble. The big three of the championship, namely Mawson, from Newey, from Schumacher. They battle their way up towards the mid-race distance, with Juri Vips having made a small mistake a lap previously, trying to keep Felipe Drugovich at bay as those two ran nose to tail. Behind Dan Tinctum, doing his level best to stay in the top six. He had a go at Drugovich late in the race. Schumacher on the tail of Harry Newey. This was the Tinctum-Drugovich battle. Tinctum did take the place round the outside of Drugovich, but then didn't have quite the drive out of the corner. Drugovich got back ahead, but it was a great effort by Tinctum on the outside. If only he had the pace to be able to stay there and get the inside line. Mawson having lost his lead. Schumacher almost made a mistake as well coming out of turn 3, slipped further behind Harry Newey. So then the question was who would get the fastest lap. The answer was Newey. The 2 points that went with it, bringing him equal on points to Joey Mawson. And on the most number of wins, the championship was his for the taking, and with the car not feeling at its best, with the tyre pressures being wrong, so Joey Mawson slipped away into the clutches of Juri Vips towards the race end. As the cars worked their way around the last couple of laps. Doing his best to come back at Schumacher was Mawson, but to no avail. Harry Newey wins the final race of the championship, wins more races than anybody in the championship, wins the championship itself. The delight evident as he came across the line, the frustration for Joey Mawson. Time for the celebratory donuts, though, for Harry Newey at the end of an excellent drive, not just in that race, but across this MRF challenge as well, and underlining just how far as a driver he has come. A race winner's trophy and a delighted new champion. Now, here at the MMRT, we have the saloon podium underway. One of the many, because there are podiums for 3 classes across the saloon car race. This, the Esteem Cup, won by Narendran S, second win of the weekend, so he's the man on the top step of the podium. Or a driver short, I think, yes. Heading up there now, our final driver, but Narendran, who in a race that was interrupted by the safety car after a car rolled, did a very good job indeed of coming through to secure the race win.
Second place to MRF2000.
So the Esteem Cup, won by Narendran. Anant Pitawala is there for second place. And then Sudhan Daniel Rajan third in the Esteem Cup. The top 3 overall in the saloon race. Narendran from Varun Anika and Anant Pitawala third. But as I say, he was the runner-up in the Esteem Cup. The saloons gave plenty of drama, plenty of action, I'm afraid plenty of damage as well over the weekend, though.
In third place for the Super Stock category for Team Performance Racing, RP Rajarajan.
So the next category for the podium is the Super Stock, with third going the way of RP Rajarajan, second to Viresh Prasad, and Varun Anika for the top step of the podium. Thank you. So there, the drivers, the man on the top step being Varun Anika, and it is Arun Marman who hands over the trophy first of all for the third place finish to RP Rajarajan. There, Viresh Prasad, whose weekend started with a rather badly damaged car after it was rolled atop by Sudhan Rajan. And there is Varun Anika, the race concepts team, the winning team. It will be, hopefully, represented on the podium as well. The final podium is that for the juniors, and it was Hisham EKP, the winner, with Kamlesh Parma, his runner-up, but Hisham EKP to the top step, the Southern Indian trend of taking your father's surname initials rather than the full name. So Hisham EKP is the man there as the one driver acknowledged on the podium in the Indian Junior Touring Car Cup.
The trophies for the MRF2000 race 2 in third place.
And they're on a roll on the podium because there is the podium for the second MRF1600 challenge race as well, and it is last year's champion Kartik Tarani, the winner of the first race, who takes third place. Second will go the way of Raghu Rangasamy, who makes his way up to the podium now, and the top step will go to Sandeep Kumar as the winner of the second of the 2 races this weekend. 4 races we've had in this series now, 4 different winners, so although it's numerically not the strongest, it's certainly a very competitive category indeed. So the drivers are there, Sandeep Kumar in the middle, both he and Kartik Tarani, as you can see from their overalls, have been racers in the Indian Volkswagen Championship in the past as well. And Arun Marman working overtime here, the managing director of MRF, handing over trophies. And the happiest man on that podium, Sandeep Kumar, on the top step.
We will request Mr. Arun Marman, please. Thank you, sir, to preside for the champagne shower. Champagne.
The drivers in the MRF 1600s will be given champagne, and their celebrations about to get underway. What a weekend it has been here at the Madras Motor Race track here in Chennai. It has been a superb weekend of racing. Lots of attention on MRF and the event, with the presence midday of Sachal Tendulkar, and lots of attention around Harrison Newey as a very worthy champion in the MRF Challenge. So, podium's done, and as the drivers contemplate a great racing weekend, let's rejoin in all the hubbub, in all the emotion down in the pit lane, Louise Beckett.
Well, as everybody goes off to celebrate, that wraps it up from the MRF Challenge 2016. It's Harrison Newey who has taken the title after a superb season of racing. We'll see you next time.